Hey, if it isn't my favorite circus performer, the lovely Kiwi.
Hey, hey! If it isn't my favorite, underpaid worker, Jeff!
So, how's life been treating you, circus girl?
Well, good, I guess. What just happened? Who are you two?
He's Am,
And he's Zoin!
and we're the Intergalactic Salesmen!
Go on.
Admit.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. Oh, wait, did I mess up something? Don't show them. I don't want you to do that. Stop it! Stop! I'm trying to make sure this thing is working. I don't want this. Okay, try speaking.
Hello? Is it
Okay.
working? Okay.
Okay, because I'm trying to figure out what is this extra thing. Oh, that's because I had it in full screen. That makes sense. Oh, all right, I get it now. I get it now. Listen, I had another thing last night, and I did a gallery last night. So, and then I was like, this is my first time having it in full screen, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Zoom is weird.
Yeah, listen, I had to listen. I was using Google Meets because I didn't trust Zoom at the moment, but I decided to go back to Zoom and give it another shot. I was like, okay, so you're not working against me this time.
Yeah.
And so, but how's your new home holding up?
It's good. I mean, the booth isn't fully up yet, which is a little stressful, but we're missing a few parts because the movers lost some. So that's a little bad.
Well, you gotta work with what you got, right, Beth?
Yeah. So I have like blankets above for like the roof right now and the door because the door doesn't have screws.
Oh, I'm
And
guessing
that's kind of
that's
something I need, which sucks because like the upstairs neighbors are a little loud, which makes recording right now hard.
that's crazy. But
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's gonna cost you extra, right?
Yeah, but it is what it is. I have to just make do. It sucked because the movers originally were supposed to put the booth up, and then they were like, we can't. And I was like, so we did it ourselves, but we can't do the roof. It's too heavy.
Well, I hope isn't your partner helping you?
Yeah, yeah, we're very small. He's short and I'm like
Oh,
small and
oh,
yeah, we can't reach it.
oh man. So you're gonna need a ladder and a
Yep,
all
mm-hmm.
that
Or
stuff.
like someone else too, because I can't put it over my head. It's really heavy. So we got all the other parts on, just the door and the roof, and the door is like 200 pounds. So I'm not doing that.
Well, shoot, I hope you guys get that stuff fixed. I know. Oh,
Yeah,
oh, you're still trying to, because I know you're about to work with some of those studios. And I don't know if you're gonna like
yeah.
start working with Crunchyroll soon, or I don't
I
know.
hope so. That would be great. I know a lot of people who are in Crunchyroll, and I would love to do
Well,
that.
go talk to some friends. I've talked to them. They might be able to help you out.
Yes.
Listen, by the way, hey, listen, the voice acting thing's not for me, but I will support you guys, whatever you do. But
Thank
I
you.
still get to talk, I can work with y'all either way.
Yes. I mean, it's like the best thing to do if you're like not in the world, but you still want to meet people in it. I feel like you're just killing it. So,
Thank you. You've been seeing some of my work, so I thank you for that. So, well, if the small talk is over, again, small talk first. We can
yes,
go
of
ahead
course.
and get this thing underway.
Yeah,
So,
perfect.
happy Friday, everybody. This is Phil. I'm host of the Conversation Podcast, and I have a special guest is with me here today. Introduce yourself. Who is Beth Pierce I'm speaking to this Friday afternoon?
Hello, I'm Beth Pierce. I'm a voice actress and singer, and I do a lot of video games and voiceover in animation and a lot of stuff. You can hear me as Moonbeam in Crush Crush, which was recently released. You can hear me as Kiwi in The Bunny Graveyard 2, which is coming out hopefully soon. You can hear me as Prudence in Bratz Video Game Stars, and many, many, many more.
Again, you're just a woman who wears many hats.
Yes, yes.
There you go. Oh, especially you being like a full-time Disney gremlin too.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I love Disney.
There you go. There you go. Listen, speaking of Disney, I actually finished watching a few movies. Guess what? Last night I watched Cars because it was the 20th anniversary of Cars.
Yes, okay. We love
And that
cars.
and that was coming back to theaters in September, which is my birthday month.
Oh,
So I was like, you know what? I'll go see them for my birthday.
yes.
Hmm.
I Cars is fun. I originally did not watch it for like years until recently, and I actually really liked it. I have not seen the third movie though, so.
You haven't seen Thermite? Okay, so I won't spoil it for you then.
Okay, don't spoil it.
All right, I won't. I will not do that to you.
I
So
love the second movie, and it's actually one of my like guilty pleasures. And I constantly talk about the fact that it's like the best movie to ever exist because it's a car movie, it's a race movie, but it's also like a spy thriller. And everyone I talk to is like, "You're crazy." I love Cars too.
who doesn't love Cars too?
It's so good. Yeah.
Mhm. A lot of spy and espionage.
Yes.
So amazing stuff. Listen, I just wish they could have made a Cars 2 video game like the first one. The Cars 2 video game was trash.
Oh, it was?
Yes, it
I
was
didn't know they
trash.
made video games. Is it just like racing or is it
It's
like,
just racing.
oh, well, that makes sense.
Ah, Beth, you're missing out. I'm gonna
I'm
have to
missing
educate.
out.
I'm gonna have
I
to
know.
educate you.
I'm not like, it's so weird because a lot of people are like, do you play video games? And I'm like, you know what? Not really. I know a lot about video games. Growing up, my sister is a huge like video game nerd. And so I've like watched her play, but I'm like actually awful at playing video games.
Oh. Well, if you got a Nintendo Switch, maybe I could teach you one of these days.
I do actually. The Switch is like the only thing I can play so far. Or like mobile. Yes. Oh, that's the new one, the fancy
Yeah,
one.
Nintendo Switch 2.
It's not much different than the original, correct?
No, it's not that much different. It's pretty much the same thing.
Oh, okay.
But you can only play Nintendo Switch 2 games on this one. You can play Nintendo
Oh.
Switch. You can play both Nintendo Switch 2 games and the Nintendo Switch games on here as well. So
Oh.
when they dropped Mario Kart World on here, I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yes.
Yes, when they dropped Mario Kart World, I got that pack.
Oh,
I got
that's cool. We love Mario. I love Mario. I grew
yeah.
up like watching my sister play like Mario Galaxy on the Wii. So
Have
I'm
you
like,
played the
I have not played. I've played the only Mario thing I've really played is like Mario Party and Mario Kart,
Mhm.
but I would love to play like some of the actual games. That would be cool. They're hard though, right?
Have you seen the movie, the Super Mario Galaxy movie?
Yes, I did.
What'd you
I
think?
did. So I fell asleep. And yes,
Yes.
um, so it's a long story. So I was in Ohio visiting my partner's family because they're all from Ohio, and we went with his brothers to see the movie. And I had seen the first one, and I was like, okay. And I was really, really tired, and I have narcolepsy. So I was like, I will be fine. I'll get through it. And then I just remember the last thing I remember is like, it was really early on too because Rosalina was there and then she like leaves. And I remember that and then I remember like a few minutes after and then I pass out. And I wake up in the middle of the movie to like Star Fox. And I was
Yes.
like, what movie am I in right now? And it was terrifying because I've done that a couple times, but not ever to like an animated movie. And I was like, and I didn't know what was happening, so I was like, what's happening? Yeah.
Mm,
So I
yeah.
actually need to rewatch it because I did not. I saw the end, but I did not see everything in between.
Oh Lord, Bev, you can't be sleeping in them theaters.
I'm sorry. I mean, I have like kind of an excuse because I can't control it, but that also was like I don't know how I did that. One time I fell asleep during Captain America Winter Soldier. And that's like so intense. I was young too, but
We both were.
I was like I don't know. I was like an 11 o'clock showing. So honestly, I that makes sense. But how did I fall asleep during Winter Soldier, which is like one of the most violent like Marvel movies?
Mm.
That I don't know. So perks of being narcoleptic.
You'll get back to it.
Yeah.
Trust me, you will get back to it.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and start with an icebreaker.
Yes.
Now I got a question. Now I've been seeing you, like I said before, you are a Disney gremlin. I've seen
Yes.
it. I've seen it. Now, what I'm gonna ask you one question. I've just seen the Tango video that you did yesterday. Have you decided to do any outfits for Rapunzel? Maybe dress up like Rapunzel and like make
I
it seem like you are?
yes. So I actually have pastel earrings on. I don't know if you can see
I
them,
could see
but
it.
and then I have like this is purple. I don't know if you can tell, but it's all kind of like Rapunzel-y right now. And I have so much Rapunzel merch. And it's very much like my thing. I love Tangled so much, so I always try to kind of incorporate it. But I do I wear other things, I swear.
Mm,
I have I have like I want to get a better dress, but I have a Rapunzel cosplay and I want to upgrade it because it's kind of old. But I love her so much and I also love Frozen and I feel like whenever I bring it up as, you know, a new adult in the
mhm.
world, people are like, "Why do you like this so much?" Like that's a kid's thing. I'm like, "Mind you, I'm only 21, so like give me some slack first off, but second off, it's like people who grew up with like Pokemon and all of that. Like you grow up loving it and you don't, ever grow out of it. And I think with like Disney and like Disney princesses, it's like such a childish thing or like a very girly feminine thing that a lot of people are like, why do you still like that? And I'm like, because it's the same thing as like liking Dragon Ball or like something that's like, you grew up with loving. It's just the same thing. So I absolutely love talking about it too.
Well, there you go. Yeah, because I will say this. There's a lot of Disney princesses. We all grew up with all these sorts of things. I just
Mhm.
kind of figure, hey, why does she not? Like I've been seeing some of your stuff. You do amazing work, by the way.
Thank you.
Like I was thinking, like, how come she doesn't like get any like outfits to really dress up like a Disney princess? Doesn't have to be the exact
I
thing.
should. Yeah.
But, I'm just saying, if you ever go to like any big events in like Los Angeles, you could wear an outfit or something.
Oh, yes. I plan to definitely do more of like cosplays and stuff. I think it's just so expensive. Like, because I don't make my own stuff. I'm not that talented. I can sew, but very mediocre sewing. My friend who's a cosplayer, they make amazing, amazing costumes. And we met through we were in Frozen together. We did like a production of it and
Hmm.
they were Elsa and I was Anna. And ever since like we've grown up together now and we're best friends and I have such a respect for like the cosplay community. I am jealous of all of them because they're so talented and I just want to I'll probably commission someone. That's probably what I'll do because there's
Yeah.
so like there's not enough accurate Rapunzel cosplays either. There's a couple, but like it depends. I'm very like picky about it.
I understand. And,
Yeah.
I will say this, Christine Bell is Amy for Sonic the Hedgehog
Oh
4.
yes.
So I
I
can't wait to see that.
I literally when they announced that, I was so happy. I was like, my girl. And that's like the best. Honestly, I saw someone predict that she would be the voice and I was like, that's kind of perfect. I can hear that. And then she was and I was like, okay, that person deserves like some kind of
Credit.
award for that
Yeah.
because that was insane. So I'm very excited about that.
I'm trying to contact my cousin. Thing is, he's friends with Tika Sumpter. So I'm trying to see if I can try to interview her before the movie comes out,
Yes.
hopefully. So before or after the movie comes out will have to be my best guess. But
Yes.
it's a work in progress. We got time before 2027. No need to
Yeah.
rush. So,
Yes.
and you know what, and I like how you brought up the cosplay community. We were actually talking about that last night. I don't know if you saw that. I just did a crossover episode yesterday on one of my posts.
Hmm.
I think you saw that I was doing a
Yeah.
promo for that. Yeah, there
Yeah.
was we had to talk about a lot of, racism going on in the
Hmm.
community and everything. My friend was facing all these fat phobic and racial slurs and stuff. There was this dude who had posted it wearing a shirt saying like I rape N words for fun. And I was like, hey, what? That's
Like,
that's that's insane.
that's disgusting. What is wrong
Yeah.
with people? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's I've seen so many like awful things, and there's good and bad in like every community, but sometimes the bad just like really it rears its head in like the ugliest ways possible, and it's so out there and it's so like public that it makes you feel like you're not a part of a community or you feel like lesser. And that's something I've noticed a lot recently, and especially like cosplay, and there's other communities as well. I mean, the world in general. And I think it's disturbing because those people that like say that are really the minority. They aren't the majority that think these things. And it is so scary to, hear these things and disgusting to see how people think, or even if they're just trolling, it's not even that, it's just disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things is that I have to remember, and I hope other people do, even though, everyone is affected by different things. And I think how people deal with it is, you know, they're right, and they need to, be able to deal with it in different ways. I'm not you and you're not me, so we all go through something different. And one of the things I try to remember and try to help people remember is that those people they're not the majority, and they don't belong in those spaces because they are so
Mm-hmm.
negative. And
Yeah.
that's just, I really wish that person, like, who said that, I hope they get better. I hope they figure out
Mm-hmm.
themselves, because most of the time it is just projection. It is just some kind of thing going on. And that's what I have to learn. I have to learn to like not engage with it sometimes. I'm like, okay,
True.
yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of felt it was something to talk about, and we were,
Yeah.
to be honest, I was planning to do a crossover because thing is one of my friends, who started that other show that you saw was Peace Tea and Petty.
Yeah.
Like, she inspired me to start her own podcast. Like,
Yeah.
wait, no, I inspired her to start her own podcast. So that's how
Oh,
we did the crossover
yeah.
yesterday.
That's
So.
lovely. Oh,
And I think we should have more conversations like that
yeah.
because I know in case because I was thinking too. I'm trying to go fast because I know we're trying to get to you because we're here for you today. Because I know some of you guys like VAs. I know some of you voice actors also talk about this kind of stuff as well. You
Yeah.
know, you don't
Mhm.
post it a lot on social media, but you only post on your
Yeah.
stories. I know,
Mhm.
oh, like because I know some people like Emily Neve. She'd be posting like
Mhm.
political stuff as well, but
Yeah.
she only keeps it, and she's in Texas where you are now. So.
Yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
think,
like, yeah. I think art is always been like political, and there's been a lot of stuff like recently that I've like seen that is just like a little disturbing, in like stuff in like the Broadway community right now that I was like, "Ooh, we recently had like the Tony Awards and all of that." and
oh yeah.
and there's been lots of like, kind of crazy stuff going on there, and I think it's always important to talk about stuff. I don't think it's ever not gonna be something that's a part of art. And I think in art spaces that it's so important to let people who need to speak be heard. I think that's important. I always want to give space for people, and also want to, because I think if you want to speak on something, you want someone to listen to you. And so I think that we shouldn't shut down other people who want to talk,
Hmm.
I always think that if you want that same, space and time where like to come back at you, you should also be giving it out to people and letting them speak. So like there's a lot of topics that I think are, especially in voice acting, like, race and gender is such a big thing in casting, and
Hmm.
there's a lot of discourse on it. And I think that personally is I want to hear from the people who are affected by it and what their opinions are, because I think that's what matters most, you know? Yeah.
Right. So
So
yeah.
there's lots of different stuff in each community, but there's also absolutely, we've seen a complete shift in like how we cast things and how we do things, and representation now more than ever is a, so important, but also it's becoming more accessible to people who can like portray those characters, which is great. So we're telling stories now that usually in, 20 years ago didn't have enough people for it, but now we have it be more accessible. And I think that's something we should celebrate and not something we should like, I don't know, get mad over because you can't get a role.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So yeah, but yeah,
yeah.
keep the representation going, because you got all these directors. There's like you'll probably meet them soon, Beth. People like Sean Gann and Caitlin Glass. They're trying to bring more
Yes.
diverse actors into the sphere as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah.
So
And we love that. We love that.
exactly. Well, now that the ice is broken, I guess we can go
Yes.
on to the main story. Okay. So 20 questions, but I'm going to combine these into two-part questions to make it go smoother. Okay. So let's start with the basic, the origin story. So now, what first made you fall in love with voice acting? And was there a specific moment where you thought, this is what I want to do?
Yeah. So I mean, I grew up just, I was a very shy kid, but I loved, walking around my house and like dressing up as a princess and pretending to be Hannah Montana. And my parents really encouraged it, which was great, but they were always like, you should do theater or you should do, ballet or something. So I did ballet, and that was the first time I was ever on stage at like 3. And then they were like, you should do theater. And I was like, no, I don't, I'm too shy. And my elementary school was doing a production of Beauty and the Beast, and I auditioned and I got the little teacup chip. And it was so, that was probably the moment where I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. Was we only had one show. And after that show, we like all the kids, like you go to the end of like the stage and you sit on the end and wait for your parents to come pick you up. And I just remember being like, one, I killed it. And I was like, I killed it. And two, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I went home and I just sobbed because it was over. And so ever since then, I did like theater summer camps and classes and productions. And when I turned 16 during, kind of COVID and like trickling out of it, um, and I was like remote still in school, I decided, I was like, I've always loved voice acting. I've always wanted to do it. And the first time I ever considered really wanting to do it was when I actually saw Frozen in theaters. I was 8 when I saw it for the first time. And I remember like when Anna came on screen and First Time in Forever starts playing, and specifically like the part where she swings around like the little like light pole. And I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this entails right now, but I want to do that. And ever since I've been like fascinated in musicals, and I was a little before that, but that was kind of the big entryway into like Broadway and all of that. And so like Frozen was a big part of my youth, but also kind of pushing me in that direction. And I grew up with like watching Pokemon in the morning. So I also knew like anime kind of. So I was like, oh, that would be cool too. And when I turned 16, I was, you know, I wanted to quit theater at one point because I was like, my mental health was bad and I was being like really bullied. And I wanted to quit theater, and recent like productions had like, postponed because of COVID. So I was like, there's nothing happening. And actually saw a um, live stream, and it was like GalaxyCon, I think, during when it was all remote. And it
Yeah.
was the Miraculous Ladybug cast, and they were talking about, whatever. And I had, watched Miraculous enough to be like, okay, I know these people like Christina V and all of those actors I really look up to.
Mhm.
And they were answering three questions, and you could type your question in. And I sent mine. I was like, how do you get into voice acting? Because I'm interested. And they picked my question and they answered it. And I have like a screen recording of the whole conversation. And I just ran into my sister's room like crying. And she's like, what is wrong? And I'm like, I just want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to do that. And at the time, I was thinking of all these other different careers because, acting is a hard career. It's not something that's,
Yeah.
everyone's like, get a backup plan or, figure something else out and then go into it. And I was thinking about that because, people are already telling you, think about college, think about this. And she looks me dead in the eye and she's a very blunt person. And she goes, I don't think you should do like anything else. I've never seen you light up the way you have about acting. You should do this. And from that moment on, I was like, okay, I literally already had a mic because I wanted to write music. And so I was like, I'm just going to audition. So the next day, literally got on the internet, started auditioning for anything I could and took classes. And then I got into a voiceover competition. And ever since then, I've just been like, that's what I want to do. Yeah.
I never seen you smile this much, Beth. But yes, all that stuff of you like, and I will agree with you with this. Voice acting is not an easy job. It is not
No.
an easy thing. And listen, I will also say this. Sometimes even the VAs got other careers too. Like
Hmm.
some of these guys, like Chris Sabat, he has his own studio in Los
Oh,
Angeles and
yeah.
all that stuff. You know. I spoke to Cricket Lake, the voice of May from Avatar: The Last Airbender, about
Yeah.
back in March. She's
Mhm.
a therapist now.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all got other stuff to be doing. Like, shoot,
Hmm.
Abby Trott, Kaylee Mills, they're both
Oh, yeah.
singers and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Kaylee does audio engineering. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm saying, like, let me say this. When y'all finish a show and the show is over, y'all got to be thinking in your heads, okay, this is
Hmm.
done. What can we do in the meantime till something else comes along?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
y'all have to be like people in many talents. Shoot, Caitlin Glass is a director. She directs
Hmm.
stuff. She
Yeah.
doesn't just the list goes on.
Yes.
And listen, and Christina V, I haven't had a chance to meet her, but I'm trying to meet her one of these days.
She's
Once
amazing.
one
Yeah.
time when I tagged her one of my videos with World Heroes Mission when the movie was coming on in my room, I think she doesn't let anyone tag anybody anymore because of how popular she is right now.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not tagging you that much. I only tagged you once.
Yeah.
I,
Tag
I,
me
I, I don't know what happened, but
in.
but it's getting to a point where I need to like, well, shoot, if I need these guys to start taking me seriously, maybe I need to do something so they can
Yeah.
see, like, I'm not just
Hmm.
listen. I guarantee you, like most of these guys, since I started this whole thing, I'm almost at 100 episodes right now. So I had to prove myself first. And now I
Yeah.
got like, I have so many VAs following my Instagram page right now because they've seen all the work I've done. And I'm not just interviewing VAs. I've
Hmm.
interviewed other people like
Yeah.
tattoo artists. I think you saw my Pride Month schedule, right?
Yes.
Because I just interviewed a drag queen last week. So there's that too. And she's in Texas where you are too.
Oh my gosh. I need to go
Yes.
see her.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll send you her information. Her name
Yeah.
is Backhit Faye, Victoria Moesner, and she has 3 cats.
I love cats.
I'll send you some videos later. But yeah, she is the very sweetest person I ever talked to on this podcast, and she's amazing stuff. Besides the whole attack with these people attacking and people with Pride Month, there was this one dude who was. I don't want to say his name because he's a jerk. He got on top of a U-Haul truck and burned the pride flag, and I was like, this man here.
Like, it affects them that much that it has to. That's crazy.
Oh
Yeah.
well, but I was like, oh well, sucks to be
It's like,
him.
I mean, I can't imagine like seeing a flag and be like it's a rainbow. It's
Mm,
like
mhm.
it's all good. Yeah. People care too much sometimes, like for
Exactly.
the worst.
Yeah. But exactly. I was gonna ask you too, since you're doing like in Texas, are you gonna try to like, I don't know, maybe like doing like singing and stuff, singing and like because I was thinking, listen, you've done so many Disney clips and
Mhm.
reels on Instagram, and I was like, why does she not sing? She could be a singer too. Like, listen, you could do voice acting and be a singer for
Mhm.
shows, like for
Mhm.
shows too. What's stopping you?
Yeah, I actually have sang in a couple roles that I've gotten, and that's been really cool to like be a character but also sing as the character. And I love singing so much, and I would absolutely like I would love to like sing an anime opening or something. I so if anyone ever needs that, let me know. But yeah, I would love to also go into like professional singing. I think that would be so cool. It's kind of like an area where you have to like know people, and I'm not really like sure of this area yet, so I'm very excited to see like where that would take me. But yeah.
Well, you got time. I mean, well, listen. Well, here's the thing. You just moved to Texas, so
Yes.
you need time to settle in and
Yeah.
start emailing people and get your stuff set up
Oh
because
yeah.
because I was like, man, they couldn't help you set up your own studio. I was
I
like, what?
yeah.
Shit, y'all, if you could, I don't know if you know of a few people down there in Texas. I know there's ever since you moved, I know you're gonna be friends with a lot of the VAs. I've already
Yeah.
interviewed up to this point, so maybe they could help you put your stuff up.
Yeah, that a lot of people have offered. It's just that we don't have like the parts to put it up, which is the problem. But everyone I've like had conversations with so far has been very helpful, and I've already met a few people, and I'm very excited to like make more friends and do that because besides like just being voice actors, I also think most voice actors are really cool people just outside of what they do. And so that's also really fun.
Exactly. Listen, when I bring you guys on here to talk, I don't see y'all as voice actors. I see y'all as
Yeah.
people.
Yes. See, that's like what's important, I think, is to oh, I see a lot of people, especially like younger people in acting, they really want to do it. And I've done that too. I really wanted to be a voice actor and I really wanted to be professional. And the thing is with that is that a lot of people tend to jump the gun or message someone out of like in hopes of like gaining something or doing something. And you can do that, but I also think building relationships is the best way to be an actor because not only does that mean people will think about you, but also because life experience is the best way to be a voice actor because you're
Yeah.
living and you're actually doing stuff. You can't pull any emotions or pull things from your life without living it, you know? And you can't play all these different characters if you can't live your life. So I think that's important to remember, especially actors are inspiring actors. They have to remember that, you know, you have to live your life first and then what's meant for you will come. And that's important.
Mhm. And listen, one day at a time. Slow and steady
Yeah.
wins the race.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly.
so, next one, this is going to be your favorite one because oof, Disney Gremlin again. You start performing really young.
Hmm.
How did those early experiences shape the performer you are today?
Ooh. I think, I mean, growing up with all like the Disney movies and all that, I definitely gained like at least a direction of like, I want to do something like that. And it's kind of grown as, a kid to learn about other areas and stuff like a lot of musical theater, especially youth musical theater and community musical theater tends to be like Disney or like youth productions and younger musicals, at least geared towards younger kids. And I think growing up, the biggest and challenge and also the most exciting thing was learning about the different sides of acting in musicals and that there's not just like one genre of thing. So, one of the things that I got to do in high school was be in my first play. And you think like, wow, it took you that long to be in a play? And I was like, yeah, because not a lot of people do plays, but also they don't have a lot of good plays to be in. So my high school was doing a production of Tartuffe, and it's a great play, and I got to be in it. And with like health and stuff, I didn't get to perform, sadly. But it was such a great experience that I really credit that to also preparing me for more and preparing me for other genres and things. So I think like I honestly think like the biggest thing with performances and how they've shaped me is learning different ones, like growing up and watching different types of movies or watching different musicals or just interviews or reading or playing games. I think consuming as much, even if you don't originally like it, you can still consume it and be like, that's not for me. But I think trying to see what you like or see what you don't like is probably the most important thing in shaping the artist within yourself. And so for me, I think it was honestly just having my dad was a theater kid growing up, and he did theater in high school and loves musicals. So that was a big part of like how I am who I am today. And my sister is, she's an animator. And so I
Mm.
grew up around, pretty accepting and loving parents and environments that shaped me into feeling encouraged to do stuff. So I think honestly, just being able to see other people and not necessarily one thing, but I think my life experience kind of shaped me in a way.
Well, hey, you're lucky to have a family who does a lot of stuff. I didn't know your sister does animation.
Yes, she's amazing. And her girlfriend as well as an animator, and she's amazing. And they are probably like the most talented people I have ever met. And I'm like a younger sibling, and I watch my sister growing up, and she's like doing all this stuff, and I'm like, how? How? She's amazing. And my parents went to school for journalism. So we're all kind of like in this realm of like, they're writers and like we're artists, and it's all a combination of that. So I think I'm very lucky to have a family that is not only like aware of the arts, and they might not be like, my parents knew nothing about voice acting, but they supported me regardless. And that was a huge help in like being who I am today, is just getting, encouragement, I think. Even if it's not from family, friends are important, or just finding a space. I mean, so many people can get community theater and all of this. There's so many spaces to feel accepted and loved, even if it's not directly, whatever your situation is in life. It it's so helpful to have someone who's just like, you can do it. And so that's why I really try to help people too. Yeah.
Well, hey, keep them. They're good. They're good people.
Yes.
So I'll do the same thing. But yes, that's really nice. Theater, they didn't know anything about voice acting. That's wow. And,
Yeah.
like shoot, like listen, I guarantee you, like when I saw your bio, it's like, oh, she's a Disney kid. I guarantee you she had her few little
hmm
Disney princess moments when she was watching all the stuff like Beauty and the Beast, Princess
hmm
and the Frog, The Little Mermaid.
Yes.
I don't and oh, Tangled, Frozen. Yep, it's a lot to take. Oh, Mulan. There's that.
We love
So,
it. I love it.
well, shoot. Well, if that's the case, don't change yourself, Beth.
Thank you.
Hmm. Next up, what was your very first voice acting role, and what did you remember the most about that experience?
Yes, I have gotten this question before, and I've never actually answered it. People have asked me it, and I've just like never gotten around to it. My first voice acting role was a short film, like a 5-minute short film, and I actually got an IMDb credit for it, and it was like my first, which is crazy. Um, and it paid $5, and I was like, yes. It was the first time I was getting paid, and I was, still really young, and I was like, I'm getting paid for it now. So that's cool. And it was just a short, I remember I had like 2 lines, and I don't even remember them because it's been a bit, but I just remember the act of like getting cast and being like, okay, so this is my little short film. You have like these lines, and I was like overjoyed. I remember like getting the $5 on like PayPal and being like, this is happening. And I was so excited. And honestly, I still am. Anytime someone like anything like that is so exciting. So I don't I remember my character was named Danny, and that is all I remember. I honestly need to rewatch it because I have not seen it since. And that's such a throwback, honestly.
Mm, that's gotta
Yeah.
be a good feeling. I guess
Yeah.
you're just having fun. Listen, when you first start something, don't even get me started. When I first started, when I did my first episode last year, that episode blew up to 1.1K views.
Oh my
And I
God.
was like,
You're
shoot, I
like,
guess I
where is this coming from?
yeah, and I was like, well, I guess I better keep doing it. And now look where
Yeah.
I am. I'm about to wrap up season two and about to start season three this fall.
I get surprised every day when anyone likes a post or like sees me. And it's so weird because, the more things that come out and more people that view, it doesn't ever change. My reaction is always like, wow. Like I've gotten like over 1 million views on like a video on TikTok, and like I was like blown away when I got like 10K likes before. And that was crazy. And then people follow you, and I'm like, what is happening? And the fact that enough people can see art or see you and then like it and share it and follow you and follow your journey, I think is so amazing. And it doesn't get old. It really doesn't. The fact that people want to hear or see something that you produce and you did is so cool. And I think it's just, it really doesn't get old. And I know you share the same like
I
ideas.
do
Like,
that too.
it's so shocking anytime someone's like, hey, you're really cool. And I'm like, what? Me?
That's amazing. And listen, I'll be telling people, look, I'm not doing this for any recognition. I'm just doing it
Yeah.
because I like it. Plus, I do
Exactly.
enjoy talking to people. So
Yeah.
I'm trying, listen, Beth, I'm a huge introvert. Sometimes I get home, I get on my games right here to start
Yep.
playing, but I'm also trying to work on getting back out there and talking to more
Yeah.
people.
Hmm.
No, even if it has to be digitally, trust me. Um,
Yes.
money wise, I can't get
Oh,
to
yeah.
certain places.
It's a, yeah, especially in, that's why I was like so excited to move because I'm like, I was born and raised in New Hampshire, and nothing happens in New Hampshire besides like, I mean, I love New Hampshire, but no, not a lot of art or what I wanted to do there. And because, that wasn't accessible, I was like, "Ah, I really want to get out and like explore." And I went to like college for like a year and a half before like I dropped
Mhm.
out because in the classes they were using me as an example, and I was like, am I spending like thousands of dollars for being an example? I don't know. And so I also, there was a bunch of things that happened and like health stuff, so I was like, I knew I was going to drop out, and my parents always knew like I was going to do 2 years and then like book it because I just wanted to get out there and I wanted to do something. And I got what I needed out of that because of being in Chicago where I was, that was, I mean, I met my boyfriend because we were close, like he was close by. I got to meet some of my best friends ever. And honestly, like location really does matter sometimes and it sucks. But
Mhm.
once like you get there, and I think the internet is very accessible now, which is great. But once you like get there, it's so exciting. Like right now I'm in the stage of like still settling in, but I'm like I cannot wait to go out and like finally like be in person and do like studios and stuff. Like that's just gonna be so cool. Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised you didn't move to California. I mean, I know there's a lot of big places, you know.
Yeah, it's expensive. That's a big thing. And also, I think that I just wanted to get to this side of the country before anything. I mean, it was it was hard because I visited like LA a couple times, and that I love California, and it's definitely a goal of mine to get out there. But to get on my feet and to like be an adult in the world, I'm like, I'll try Texas first because there's a lot of anime here and I really would love to do that for a bit too.
True. And I will say this, sometimes Texas and California isn't for everybody, you know.
Yeah,
I
true.
can I tell you something?
Hmm.
There was this little podcast, and I said this to all the previous people. There was this podcast that Tom Holland was on. He's Spider-Man.
Yes, yeah.
He was saying, with Jay Shetty's podcast. I think you know who Jay Shetty is. If
Mhm,
if not, it's okay. He was
mhm.
saying, Tom Holland was saying, in my overall opinion, I don't like Hollywood at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's. I think he's saying his take so because that's why he was saying, like you don't see me at a lot of red carpets and award shows because it's
Mhm.
just a lot of noise and
Yeah.
it's just well it's really like like sometimes he really can't handle like because you also have to deal with all the cameras on you and all that stuff. Like fame is good, can be fun for your resume, but it's not going to be really
Mhm.
fulfilling in life.
Yeah.
Something that who was that? I'm trying to fix my thing. Josh Brolin right here, the
Mhm,
voice of
mhm.
Thanos from Avengers Endgame. You see him.
Yeah.
He was saying, 9 times out of 10, actors want to figure out how to be famous. Whereas
Mhm.
back in the day, it's all about paying your dues.
Yeah. Mhm.
So the message in that TED talk he was doing was like, don't do it just to be famous. Do it because you have a love and passion for the
Yeah.
art. And every actor doesn't really think that way.
Mhm. I think a lot of people get into, I've seen a lot of people be like, I want to make money. And I'm like, then don't go into voiceover because you will, like, yes, you can make money and that's great, but the job is auditioning and it's not even booking. It's just auditioning, auditioning, auditioning. And you won't be making money right away unless you start, gaining, at least some recognition within the community and people start to know you. And one of the biggest things is do it because you love it. I think that's a big, yeah, like you have to do it because you love it. I don't think anyone can survive in the arts if you don't love it. It is too much work to be putting in for something that really doesn't give a lot of payoff. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to book something. And that is really, really hard for people who want to get into it for money and or fame or whatever. And that's why I'm always like, make sure you love it first. Try it and keep doing it and audition, audition, audition. And if you don't love it enough, like you need to, honestly, that's okay. Like that's not for you. And there's no shame in saying that either. I think it really isn't for everyone. And I had so many people in my life and like even my theater teacher in high school was like, don't go in acting. Like don't, because it's just too much. And I literally was like, I'm going to but he meant all well and he was very supportive, but I was like, definitely it's not for everyone. And I honestly recommend if you have the heart to do it and you can take it, do it. But if
Mhm.
it's like too much, there's always ways to do it on the side. There's always ways, and not everyone's going to be an A-lister. Not everyone is going to, that's a very small population of people that mainly got either lucky or knew somebody or just had to be in the right place at the right time. And I try not to stress about that. But I always think like when I was younger, I was like, I always would practice in the mirror like my acceptance speeches for like an Oscar or a Tony. And I always like knew in my heart that I was like, I was meant to do something that would get me to that point. Not because I wanted to be up there accepting and famous. It's because I knew that I would do something like creatively fulfilling to get me to that point. And honestly, I still think that. Like I still think you can put all the work in and you might never get to that point, but I think if you do believe enough and work your butt off, you can.
Yeah. And listen, I fell into that trap when I was in college. I was
Mhm.
trying to just like be popular on social media and just be posting. But after I left college and decided to slow down, I decided to focus on what I need to be focused on. And,
Mhm.
it took me a long time to get to this point, but, it's a part of growing up, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So I learned to just, slow down and enjoy the small moments, the small victories, and just do what you love doing,
Yeah.
without like trying to be known. Because here's the thing, like, sure, it's not going to be like, what's the point of like trying to be so of like famous in life, but it's not fulfilling to you. There's so much
Yeah.
more. Like, there's more important stuff in life than just chasing and clout. Late,
Yeah.
so. And that's what, and some people just don't think that way.
Yeah.
I was looking to get out of that mess so I can
Hmm.
focus on what I have to
Yes.
do. So for me, I'm just here trying to, like, for example, when because thing is, on my Instagram, I don't post stuff on my Instagram without context anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't post, like, if I have a sort of reason, then I'll post something.
Mhm.
I gotta make sure I have context. If not, then
Yeah.
I won't post it at all. So that's why you just gotta be smart when you're doing these sorts of things, especially when you're doing like careers and everything. Like for me, I'm just giving y'all information and let y'all decide for yourselves. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to get any arguments with nobody.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, um, next up, now, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice before entering this industry, what would it be?
Ooh. Um, it's probably, hmm. I would say one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten, um, was actually on that Miraculous Ladybug panel, and it was, you can't cash a check if you don't sign it. And I think that's something that I would just say to everyone because I used to feel like at some point in my life, like I used to feel like I needed to be a certain way or look a certain way or wear a certain thing and act like a certain way to uh, get people to like me or get a role or get further in life. And it was it only brought me pain and it really only made me struggle. And I learned throughout this time, ever since hearing that, but also before a little bit during that era of my life, I really tried to get out of that. And I would start like wearing clothes I liked in my room, and then I would go downstairs and wear it in the house, and then I would go out. And it was such a process of I wanted to do it, but I felt like I couldn't. And something I would say to everyone and myself is to you cannot do anything and be authentic and get where you want to go without being yourself. And so the things that make you you and the things that make you special and unique are the things that will make you book a role or make a friend or get a job or just be happy. I think that, the little things that we nitpick about ourselves, our weight, our hair, our eyes, our clothes, our voice, and just everything, our personality. I think that those things are what make you stand out and what make you special. And are the things that are going to make you have life experiences that no one else can have because you are a completely different person than the person next to you. And so I think I would just say to try to own you. Try to be you because that's the only person that's going to get you anywhere and the only person that's going to get you out of bed even when it's hard. And I know from experience, it is hard, like physically also and mentally to get out of bed and to get through that door and to do all of these things. You have to be you in order to do it. And pretending to be someone else just won't get you there. So that's honestly what I would say.
Mhm. That, and also remember, comparison is the thief
Mhm.
of joy.
Mhm.
It is,
Exactly.
and I like how you said all that because you got to keep listen. Even if you do get rejected, you got to do something. Listen, the way things are going right now, I had a discussion with one of my coworkers the other day on Wednesday. It's talking about, when I started to do this kind of thing, I realized that I just, shoot, ooh, I'm 25 now. So I'm about to
Mhm.
be 26. I realized that I can't sit on my hands and do nothing. I got to do something. Like,
Yeah.
I can't just like wait for an opportunity to come my way. I have to go get after it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're the only person that can do that. And that's important. I think everyone should be like, I need to do this because you can get help from other people, but it's so hard if you're not in it and you're not like doing it yourself. I think is like the biggest thing is to just do it and don't compare yourself to other people while doing it. It's so hard, but once you get into a mindset where you can kind of turn it off and turn off the noise, like one of the things I actually wrote down to myself in like a little journal recently was you can't move forward if you're always looking to the side. You can't stay in your lane if you're looking at the other cars around you on the highway and you're seeing how fast they're going and you're going a certain speed. And because you'll miss your own exit to get wherever you're going. And I think that is true to life and acting and everything is just you won't get anywhere by looking to the side. And that is just, you have to accept that and know that wherever you're going is where you're supposed to go, even sometimes when it's hard. Because we always question, like, why does this happen to me? Or why does this? And I always like, when you're in those positions, it's really hard to stay like positive and be like, it's gonna be okay. And but the thing is that I do think that everything does happen for a reason, even the bad stuff, because it makes you the person that you're supposed to be. And it makes you stronger. And I don't think that, bad things happen to make you weaker, if that makes sense.
It does. Something my
Mm.
granddad told me this a million times. People don't plan to fail.
Mhm.
They fail to plan.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, exactly.
So he's been telling me this since day one. I always keep that with me so I can keep in mind, like, I have to make sure I plan things out. You
Yeah.
know, because if you don't plan things out,
Yeah.
it's not going to be intended the way you think it
Yeah.
is.
Exactly.
So now we're out of that section one. I know that was a long section one, but
Oh, it's good. We're
it's good.
talking it. We like it.
So let's go into section two, voice acting and roles. So this is going to be a two-part question coming up. Now, you worked on a variety of indie projects. Now, what
Mhm.
draws you most to indie voice acting? Part two, out of all your roles so far, which character felt the most personal to you and why?
Okay. I think indie projects are, I think it really is like an underdog story. I absolutely, not only do I relate, because, I had no ins in the industry at all. I got everywhere because of me. And that is something I pride myself in. And, I got everywhere because I did it, not because of location, not because of someone I knew. It was because of me and my work ethic. And I do pride myself in that because I think though I would have loved to have like help, I think it actually made me a stronger, person in general. I worked every day and I would be in class in high school and I would be like doing a test and then after the test I'd be like looking up auditions in class. And so I think that indie projects really there's so much art that comes from them too and it's real and it's raw and it's just authentic to the artist that's creating it. And I think there's something to be said about indie projects, especially recently. We're seeing a rise in mainstream indie projects getting, picked up or, funded. And I think that's such a good thing for the industry, but also for art in general. I think the people that don't have the opportunities to share what they need to share are probably sometimes the most important stories to listen to because they're not what you would ever expect. You can go and see the same old, like, happy, little movie, but if it's not coming from a place of like authenticity and realness, I think there's no point in creating that. And so I think indie creators and projects are so fascinating to me because they're one more accessible um to a newer audience and to a newer generation of creators, but also they just have so much heart. And I think that's such a big thing that I love. And so but for characters, I it's like choosing your own child because a lot of them are almost very, very much like me. Like there's different things, I think, Probably one of the most fun characters I got to do, and I mean, isn't released yet, but has been announced, is Kiwi in The Bunny Graveyard 2. She's very fun for a multitude of reasons, and I think we are very similar in ways, and then also not at all. But she's, a showgirl and she's a performer, and but she's also very complex and energetic, which I love. I think probably the most similar and like to me, I think Rain and Upwards Rain has a lot of like my younger self, which was like very nice to do because she's, a younger girl, but I also find that story is a really, really emotional story that I resonate with.
Hmm.
And I think her like going throughout the story is such a, I won't spoil anything, but is such a seeing a perspective of like childlike wonder and realization and just youth in general is so like therapeutic as a person who, whatever you go through in life, I think it's important to get that through in performing. And so I got to do a lot of that of like, it was kind of like a love letter to my younger self. So but I can't choose. I can't choose. I don't know who's the most like me because most of them are actually my normal voice. Because people seem to like my normal voice, and I'm very happy about that. But yeah, honestly, they're very I don't think I have too many characters that are different than me. I do have a couple, but not like they're mainly like in the same realm of like person, which is cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hey, with that cute normal voice, it's hard to, make a different voice than that one. So
I
that's
mean,
what that's what I'm saying. Don't change it.
thank you.
I think it's perfect. Don't change it.
Thank you. I definitely like want to be able to I think I kind of have one of a lot of my voice acting like inspirations, one of them is Bryce Papenbrook because he's got such a youthful voice and he's like, he always says he has like Benjamin Button disease, where his just voice is always the same. And I kind of have that a little bit. And so I kind of relate to him because I cannot do a character where it doesn't fully like in some way it's going to be me, which is great because you should have a little bit of you in everyone. I think it wouldn't be believable if you didn't. But I also think it's really funny because I can hear, and it's not necessarily like a bad thing. It's like I can hear me though. And like some people are vocal chameleons, like Matt Mercer is a complete, he can do accents and all of these different things, and you will not know who it is. And I think at least I've never experienced where like I've heard my voice and been like, oh, I can hear me in there. But I also kind of love that. And I think that's a part of like, I used to hate my voice. I used to be like very insecure about it. And now I hear it so much, but I also have learned to be like, oh, well, no one else sounds exactly like me. I mean, there's so many people I get compared to vocally, but none of them in which I am exactly like, and none of who are exactly like me. So I think that is something that I pride myself in is of coming back to like, owning who you are is like I've started I've started to really enjoy like the little cracks or the little things I do with my voice because no one else can do that exact thing in that exact moment. And I really like that. So honestly, I try to be very positive about my voice, especially when people are like, you sound like this person. I'm like, I sound like me. And that's all, that's good.
That's good. That's all we need. As long as you're
Yeah.
happy with your voice. Are you happy with your voice?
Yes.
Then don't change. Then don't
Yeah,
change it.
don't change it.
Don't
I've
change
tried
it.
to do like I mean you changed definitely for like auditions and I've definitely tried to do like deeper voices which have been kind of a bit of a challenge, but I've actually gotten cast as a few things that I'm like, "Oh, I didn't expect that." And people would be like, "You have a director in a session was like, "You have a scary voice. Has anyone ever told you that?" And I went, "No one has ever said that to me, nor have I ever thought that." And they were like, "That's why we cast you." And I was like, "What?" So honestly, that just goes to show you never know what someone else thinks about your voice. Yeah,
Wow. Well, there you go.
there you go. So don't change because maybe they'll actually see you as a different way.
Exactly. Um, Next, how do you approach creating a voice for a character from scratch? I think you probably know the answer, but go
Yeah.
ahead.
I mean, honestly, most of them, again, have been my normal voice. But I try to, if I have like a picture of the character, I try to like almost like move a little bit as them and try to like get into like what their mouth looks like. And if they have like buck teeth, I'll try to like implement what that would sound like. So it really comes with like my own vocal range, but also what I think the character would sound like. And sometimes you don't get a photo, which is fun because then you can just kind of come up with your own thing. Sometimes you get like a vocal reference, and
Yep.
those are helpful. But always kind of just do my own thing, not necessarily, unless it's like voice matching exactly, then I like kind of really make sure I try to voice match. But I I love kind of just like playing around and seeing what fits. And it making a voice is difficult because it just comes naturally. A lot of people do like ask about that and they're like, "How do you do this?" And I'm like, "I don't know." If I'm like completely honest, it's like it just kind of comes and I play around with it and I just do it. And that's such a like bad answer. I wish like I had more information on like, oh, I actually like take 3 hours to work on like this like inflection in my voice and I do this dynamic thing. And I'm like, no, I just kind of like sit there for a moment. I go, oh, I think you sound like this. And I do it. It's like the
There you go.
silliest answer, but it's so true. And I feel like nobody kind of like talks about that. It's like it kind of just comes.
Hey, it comes and goes. And listen, that's the fun thing about doing those kind of things. You get to go crazy in that booth and just pull out like all kinds of like
Mhm.
different accents or whatnot.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something hilarious, Beth. When I was interviewing Ariana Contardo, she's Cedric Williams' girlfriend, and she's a voice actor as well. She's she
Hmm.
she is very sweet. I think you've heard of
Hmm.
her. She's
Yeah.
very sweet. I talked to her last month in May. So I was telling her about that scene I was watching with the old Justice League cartoon,
Yeah.
and you get to that episode with called Maid of Honor with Batman. By the way, rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. He passed away a few years ago. He passed away right after I just finished playing one of his games, Arkham Knight, and I wake up the next morning, he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
also I think that was a bad omen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so she was saying there was this guy who was trying to interrogate, and he was saying, "Who do you work for?" He spoke in a different language, saying,
Mhm.
"Ekersen shake borte, don't understand shake borges."
Mhm.
Yes, he was, and that means is you can't understand a word that I'm saying, and even if you did, I wouldn't tell you anything.
Mhm.
Intem de stand don the mat. I was like, he said, "I can, and you
Mhm.
will."
If
I
that
was
was
like.
me, I would just like pass away. I'd be like, okay, goodbye.
I was like, bro, Batman is rich. He can afford to learn a few languages.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, do y'all know who y'all dealing with?
Yeah, he's kind of like a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah, Ariana told me that she also does like an Australian accent.
Yeah,
So I was like, that's cool. So I
that
was like,
I'm so jealous of people who like do real accents really well. I can do a lot of like American like areas, like different dialects and those things. I've done like a British accent before and just like a general British accent, but I really want to get like better at it. But it's actually not something that comes up quite a bit because most people try to do like authentic like British actors and stuff. And I think that's really interesting because you don't see that in Hollywood. You just see all the British actors do American roles or like vice versa. And I'm like, what's happening? But like in voiceover, sometimes they're like, we want authentic. And I'm like, I can't do that for you. I I had a dialect teacher in college and we had like this class and it was like voice and dialect and all that. And he was like professional. He knew what he was doing. And he could point out where everyone was in the country because everyone's from different parts of the country. And he got to me and he was like, I can't tell where you're from. And he kept guessing different like states. And I was like, no, no. He thought I was like, some people thought I was from California. Some people thought I was from like Illinois or like everywhere, Florida, like anywhere. They were just saying all these states. And I was like, one, I get it. You forgot about New Hampshire. Everyone does. That's not a problem. I understand. But I was like, do I really sound that just like general? Like I don't sound like I have an accent. It's very interesting because everyone, when I say I'm from like New England and New Hampshire and all that, they're always like, oh, but you don't have an accent. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I don't have a Boston accent for sure. That's not what I have, but I mean, my mom was from Illinois, so sometimes that can come out a little bit because I grew up with her, but I mean, that will happen when that's your mother, but I don't accents are hard because it's so specific what people are looking for now. So when people can do it, I'm so like impressed and I want to learn and like do it. I can do some, but I will not do it right now because I will embarrass myself.
Liz, it's okay. I'm not gonna push you. So
You're all good.
let's keep the train moving.
Yes.
So now this will be another two-part question, okay?
Okay.
Now, what's one role that challenged you the most vocally or emotionally? Part
Ooh.
two, if you could step back into one of your characters for a sequel or continuation, who would it be?
Ooh, okay. Ah, there is one role that I have now that is definitely vocally challenging. Um, but if a previous role, I would say, ooh, I mean, there was aspects of, I think, Row and Locust that were very interesting because it's my lower register and he's a guy. And so but I love doing like little boy voices. And so that was fun, but he's not like necessarily a little boy. So you have to
Mm,
make it like believable enough that it's like he does have like a younger, like more feminine, like I think the original, when the director reached out to me, I think it was like originally the voice print like they wanted was like Kurapika from like Hunter x Hunter. And I was like, okay, I actually have done that before. So for another role. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And they were like, oh yeah. And like another example was also Aang from last Avatar,
Airbender.
Last Airbender. Yeah.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, that's very different, but I got it down because I got the role apparently. But that was really fun and emotionally so much fun. I think there's a short film coming out soon and I'm very excited about that and you'll get to see him in action, but there's a lot of like emotional things that I really like to do. If I could step back into another character, some of my most of my characters are like reoccurring or projects that are still coming out. So I'm very lucky and fortunate to do that. I definitely think that I would love to go, ooh, who isn't like a reoccurring person? Oh, this is kind of tricky. Um,
Ooh, I stumbled you, didn't I?
yeah. I I love all of them. I think if I could, maybe I'll change it a little bit. If I could do like one thing differently, I remember there's one line, and I won't tell you, but because it's not out, but it's in the Bunny Graveyard too, and I wish I did it a different way. But that's only because it was like a live session and it was the heat of the moment, and I was like, I just did it, and they were like, "That's great," and I was like, "Was it?" And I do that a lot in my head where I'm like, am I? Is this good? And then people are like, "Yeah, that's good." I'm like, "Huh." And then, but I'm such a perfectionist, and it's like one line that I would be like, oh, maybe that one. I love Kiwi so much. I think she would be fun to dive into more. Um, but you never know. So,
I kind of figured it would be Kiwi because she's all
yeah,
over the
she
place.
is she's so fun. Those are my favorite characters. There's a couple characters now that I'm really excited to get recording soon because they're fun. So, I'm definitely excited to jump around. I love like
Mm.
that.
Well, shoot, if you ever get into like any like big franchises, like the
Mhm.
whole, please I'll be watching your profile, see if you get into any of those, okay? Because like I
Yes.
said, you just got there, you got to start auditioning,
Yeah. Mhm.
you better start connect with some of those other your fellow VAs to help you out or
Yes.
something.
Yes. Hopefully, maybe some anime.
I'm keeping an eye out for,
Crunchyroll, if you're watching.
yes, I'm keeping an eye out for that too.
Yes.
So, well, let's see. Well, let's go ahead and get into the next thing. Oh, we're halfway done. Before we continue, are you
Ooh.
enjoying our discussion so far?
Yes, I am. This is
Thanks.
fun.
I bring receipts, okay?
Okay.
So, section three is about identity, advocacy, and real talk.
hmm
So, you've opened up about being neurodivergent and narcoleptic, as you discussed earlier. How has that shaped your journey in entertainment?
Ooh, that's such a great question. I love talking about this. I think that being neurodivergent is something that's just always been a thing. It's never not been who I am because it existed before I even knew it existed in me. And um I think it's kind of always been I have just a better time at seeing the world through stories. I realize that this isn't normal, but I relate everything back to a story or to a show or to something I've like seen. And that is really interesting because most people I've talked to don't do that. So when something happens and it's like a situation like I'm upset or someone does something that is like bad, and I will be like, this is like that time in this. And then I will know how to like either handle it or I understand my own emotions more through media, which is really fascinating because I've never put quite a lot of thought to it before. It's always just been natural, but I go out through life and I see things and or I do something and I'm like, "Oh, this is like that." So I know how to handle that or, "Oh, I know how to, you know, understand this a little more or this person a little more because I've seen that." So I think like media and being neurodivergent is a really I don't know if other people can relate to this, but I think it is kind of like a gateway into seeing something that you quite don't understand. So sometimes the world's like a little more confusing or a little more, stimulating than it should be for people. And for me, I try to understand it through the lens of like what I know. And because when you don't live those experiences, you're like someone is talking to you right now and they're like, I hate you. And you've never been told, I hate you. You're like, oh, how do I do this? But if you've seen it before, it kind of gives you like, oh, okay. And that low key sounds like I'm just like going throughout life and I'm like, this is this character. And sometimes I do that, but it's more of just the lessons. Like one of them to take it back to Tangled. One of them in the Tangled the series is like the second episode of the show, and it's her whole thing is she has this Rapunzel has this guy in town and everyone loves him, but like he hates her. And so the whole episode is her trying to like get him to like her. And in the end, they just come to a mutual agreement that they just don't like each other. And that's something that I've struggled with so bad. And I it helps me seeing that to know like, okay, not everyone's gonna like you or not everything's gonna be like that. So I think that's definitely a really interesting way that I look at life. And also like my my partner, he says that like my eyes are like my pupils are very big and he's always like you see the world so brightly and big and
But you have
and
good pupils.
thank you. They're very big and I get comments on like are you okay and I'm like that's just how they are, I swear they have big
Yeah,
anime pupils.
Beth, you look great. Look great.
Thank you. um and so I think that is true in a way and I I see the world like just big. Everything's adventurous and big and exciting. And when something's bad or sad, it's so sad. So I think being neurodivergent really helps with like being an actor, but also it's definitely a challenge. Like I think there are things that people don't quite understand that if you're not neurodivergent, you kind of just like are like, oh. And honestly, it's interesting to see like neurotypical people like talk about things, and I'm like, oh, so you don't do that thing that I do every single day? That's crazy. And so it's relating to people is sometimes like complex, and like you
Hmm.
have to jump through hoops to do it, but it makes acting so much more fun because it's only your lived experiences that like you can get to an acting point. So I think that's really important. And for narcolepsy, I that's changed that changed my life. I got diagnosed at 18, and
Mm.
it changed my life completely. My healthy body was completely changed. Like I lived my whole life. I was pretty tired as a baby, and but that wasn't a problem. I never had like problems and whatever. And when narcolepsy kicks in when you're about like, getting into adulthood, which is awful. By the way, wouldn't recommend that. But I it was my senior year in high school and a new school, and I didn't know what was happening. I was like passing out on the ground. The teachers are like, I don't know you, and you're passing out. People thought I was on drugs. And I was in and out of the hospital, missing weeks of school. And I got diagnosed, and I was like, thank God I have an answer. But it was so, it's been such an interesting way to relearn how to live, essentially, and to relearn how to be healthy again. So my healthy right now is completely different than my healthy at 16 and 17. And that is heartbreaking. And living every day knowing that you won't ever get to go back to that makes you only just appreciate what you do have now. So when I'm not having a bad day, or when I'm not having like, sleep attacks or things that really bad like narcolepsy moments, I I just like, you know what? I'm grateful for it because I took it. I think we take it so much for granted until it happens to you, and you're like, oh, so now I have to rework how to live my life every day. And so I can't drive like as much as I used to, or I can't go out alone as much as I used to because I'm afraid I'll fall asleep or something will happen. And so that's it's a hard thing to deal with, but I also think it's only made me stronger and more pushing more to be an actor because is some jobs are just I can't work them, and I can't even do like 4 hours, and that's awful. I wish I could. I wish I could have like, a moment where I'm like, ah, I can work 6 hours, and I know not everyone wants to, but it's something that I think that I took for granted. And if I could go back and change like one thing is like just enjoy the time that you have and the ability that you have when you do, because you never know. And so that's why every day I'm like, I'm lucky to get to do what I do and to have accommodations. And but I also really love talking about it because not a lot of people know what it is.
Yeah. Also, I want to also say I'm sorry you had to go through that.
No, I mean, I it was frustrating for sure, and I always like wondered why did I have to do it and why, but I honestly think like it's like, you know, sometimes you have to go through something hard so other people who aren't as strong as you wouldn't they couldn't handle it. So I think like it happened because like I was the person who could handle it in that moment, and that's okay. And I'm proud of that. I pride myself in being strong, and it sucks, but it's also like I don't think that a lot of people could go through it. So I'm like, you know what? I do, and no one knows. Like you could not tell, and that's great. But I'm also it's so hard to talk about because people are like, "Are you sure you have this?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am. You just don't see it."
Understand,
Yeah.
understand. And well, I'm glad you were able to, share that with me. I
Yeah.
because listen, the more I touch it, the more I understand you guys' backstory. And listen, me and my dad had a discussion about this, and he's been listening to some of my episodes too, because he
Mhm.
feels he kind of feels like I'm taking the burden of everything you guys are going through. I'm trying not to, do that much, maybe, I mean, this ain't like therapy. Like
Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
I haven't been to a therapist in like 6
Mhm.
years. Maybe I need to
Yeah.
go see a therapist again.
Yeah.
It's just a thought,
Yeah. I
I'm just
mean,
trying to,
I mean, you're empathetic. It's hard. It's hard when like people share something and you like I don't understand if people don't feel it immediately like back at you. I'm like when someone goes through something awful, you want to be like, okay and tell them it's fine and it sucks. But honestly, like just know that like what you're doing and giving people platforms and giving yourself a platform is important and that that is helping and that's the only way you can't change like other people's lives like by you can't go in someone's brain and change it and fix something but you
Mhm.
can give people outlets and I mean yeah, I mean, if it does take a toll on you, I say for sure take care of yourself because you are just as important as the people you are talking to. And that is important. I think a lot of people forget that, but just know you're awesome. So,
I will be honest with you, Beth. I did cry one time back in season one
hmm
because one of the stories touched me and all that stuff.
hmm
Yeah, I think that's my first time crying in one of those episodes. Might cry
But
in future episodes. Who knows?
That's all about, that's why this is important. As
Mhm.
human connection is so powerful. And the fact that you cried just means that someone, their life and their experience touched you for good or for bad. You feel for them. But
Mhm.
that's like what keeps people around and what keeps people going is like that connection in general, even when it's hard. So, like, if you cried, honestly, I would rather cry than like, not feel anything at all, you know? Like, so you're doing great things.
Oh, that touched me. Thank you. I listen every time when I wake up. I just try to do the best I can.
Yes, and that's all you can do. That's all you can do. To take it back to Frozen, one of my favorite quotes from Frozen 2 is actually do the next right thing. And Anna says that when like she like Elsa dies and Olaf dies and it's like the hardest moment of her life and she just remembers that and that is going on. And Christian Bell, the voice of Anna, she said that song that she sings is like about, she had to really get through that session because it reminded her of her own depression and her own experiences. And but that phrase is like that was actually my graduation cap. I put it on my graduation cap because it rings so true. Is like the only thing you can do is just get out of bed. If you can't get out of bed, you work around it. You try to figure out how to get through the day. And if you get out of bed, you just do the next thing. What's the next thing? Brush your teeth or go to the bathroom or eat a snack or do something. Get your clothes on, And if you can leave the house, you can leave the house. If you can't, you can't. It's not everything is linear. There's no right way to do something, but the only thing you can do is the next right thing. So that's all you need to do.
It exactly, Beth.
hmm
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Look, we're both giving us speeches here.
Yes.
So, let's go on to the next question. Now, what does representation and voice acting mean to you personally? I know we talked about it earlier with the diversity stuff,
Mhm.
but let's go back to that. You
Yeah.
know,
I mean, I I have cried so much over seeing people be represented and feeling represented. And when you see a piece of media, and this is like general, and when anyone sees a piece of media and you something touches you, you see something represented on screen that you didn't know that could be on there, you see something talked about that you thought you were alone with, or you didn't know other people went through. And that relates back to you, or just a person and a personality, a character that resonates with you. There is no better feeling than feeling seen. And to be able to give that to other people, but also to feel seen myself is so important because every person is different with what they go through in life. And you know, I learned that I was asexual through watching BoJack Horseman because they have a whole arc with Todd being asexual and coming out as asexual, I didn't know what that was until I watched the show. And I was watching it with my parents, and I remember seeing that episode and I was like, oh my gosh. Like the thing that I was confused about for so long, or like why I thought something was wrong with me, is now makes sense. Like that's it. And I had a word for it. And even just feeling represented by seeing someone with a similar personality or like similar things you go through in arcs and stuff, I think representation is so important and it can save lives, it can touch hearts, it can open conversations and give you courage that you didn't think you have to open conversations. I think that is so important. I remember this video that I always think back to whenever someone like talks about like representation in
Hmm.
voice acting is specifically in Encanto when it was released and it was so big. And I remember seeing this video of this little boy who looked just like Antonio, the little boy in the movie. And he's watching it on his TV and he's like, he looks like me. And I just remember sobbing because it's so to see a child experience like something, to see themselves in a character, to see themselves on screen, basically. He looked exactly like him too, which is like the cutest part. And to see that and to see what that does from a young age, to feel represented from a young age is important. And when people haven't been represented from a young age, that only makes us want to represent them now. And so stories and characters are so important to feeling seen and to feeling not alone, because when someone is at their breaking point, something, even the smallest thing, could change their life. Like just even smiling at someone or waving or saying hi or saying, are you okay? But sometimes media also does that. And so I think representation is so important to everyone. And it's not just a like one race, one gender, one person fits all, like no, you're not going to relate to every character, but that's what's important is to be able to hold space for people who do relate to that and do feel that, because now you understand a little bit more of them and that's a good thing. I think we should all embrace not feeling like seen by other people being seen. Like I see people feel like I resonated with this character so much or I saw myself in them and I'm like, hell yeah. Like that's so important. I think even if I didn't relate, I'm like, that's so important because I know what it's like to feel represented. And when you do, it can change your life. So I always struggle with people who are like, why are we doing this now? Or why are we, this is not important. I'm like, it's important to someone. And that person, that someone should matter to you because they are a human being just like you. And you're not more than them or less than them. We are all someone. And so that is important. And I think representation should be talked about all the time. We should be talking about it and we should be embracing it and not afraid of it because, you know, God forbid somebody, feel seen and feel welcomed and loved. And that's important. And that's why I think representation is so important, seeing, stories that people can't relate to so they can be aware of it. And yeah, I think it's probably one of the greatest joys of storytelling and of being a performer is getting to see that, but also getting to tell those stories too. Yeah.
Yeah, and lately with stuff what's going on, the way the climate is, we need to tell more of those stories. And I will say a few things too, because as I said before, people like Caitlin Glass and Sean Gant trying to bring more diverse character people, because you have a lot of voice actors who are coming to the States
Yeah.
from different countries because
Oh, yeah.
some of those places like Italy or etc. they don't have those kind of studios
Mhm.
like like Japan or we do,
Mhm.
so they have to like come here to for look for fresh opportunities. And
Yeah.
plus, even when and directors do a movie but they don't have all the answers, we
Mhm.
need a different culture's perspective
Yeah.
on this because we don't
Mhm.
have all the answers either.
Yeah. Exactly. We need at least somebody who like knows something because I think like And that's why, like, on movie sets, like, intimacy coordinators and all that is so important, is because, like, a director can do their job and they can direct, but they can't, like, give you pointers on, like, how to do intimacy in a scene or how to safely do that so everyone feels good. And that's such a big conversation in the film industry, is how do we do that? And how do we, figure out that and represent that in a way that everyone feels seen and safe on set? And so there's that. There's like, I think there should be, you know, people who can be able to help out directors when they aren't sure, because that's also important, is to be like, okay, I'm a director, but I don't know a lot about this. And hearing from a lived experience or from someone who does know a lot about it can only enhance what you're creating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we gotta listen to all everyone's opinions because we
Hmm.
might be missing something that we might have stumbled over.
Yes, exactly.
So, let's see. Next up is going to be a three-part question.
Nice.
If you can handle it.
I will do it.
Okay. Have you ever had a moment where you felt like you truly belong in this industry? Part two, what advice would you give to aspiring voice actors who feel like they don't fit the mold? And part three, how do you take care of yourself mentally and creatively in such a demanding field?
Mm. I think that one of the biggest things for me was like when I was on the Ultimate VO Survivor, which is a voiceover competition. I was 16, and one of the guest judges was Tara Strong, for the portion I was in. And I remember, like, I did my like audition and it was like live streamed and all that, and she responded and she was like, I would cast you right now. And like she was around my age when I like was doing it, and she was like, I was around your age when I started and I would cast you right now. And something that made me feel seen was like these teachers and these professionals encouraging me in a way that like they were like, you're young, but I believe in you. I had a teacher in a class. I was taking a class, um, Adventures in Voice Acting, and um, Dora Fine, who's a wonderful teacher and she's amazing. She, we were talking in class, and I was like, they asked me what age I was, and I was 16, and they were like, okay. And then she messaged me privately on the Zoom,
Mhm.
and she's like, hey, so I know you're young, but we have these other classes. Technically, it's 18 plus, but if you get like express permission from your parents, and also like I'm allowing you, you can go because I think you're ready for it. And I remember being like, oh, so adults believing in me is like insane, first off, but also having that much faith and like trust from people who know what they're doing is so inspiring. And I try every single day to encourage people younger than me, older than me, the same age, to do what, you know, they did to me. And I try to make sure that they know that like everything that you're doing and everything of who you are is what we need in this industry. We need you individually. We don't need the person you think you need to be, or the person the like social media wants you to be, or the industry thinks you need to be. We need you. And that is so important. And I think every single day I really do try to like respond to comments and questions about voice acting all the time, because I think that every single person deserves the same love and opportunity that I was given. And I would be nowhere if someone didn't believe in me. And if I didn't have my parents to believe in me, and if I didn't have teachers to believe in me, or friends, or if they all dropped one by one, or whatever the situation, if I only had one of those groups, would still have someone. And when someone doesn't know, or they're not public about it, or they're scared, I think if they know that I support them, they they can do whatever, and that's such a big part, is like believing that you have a space, and knowing that someone believes in you. Because even if like someone sends me like, they're like, hey, I'm new, I'm like 12 years old and I'm new and I'm recording on my iPhone. And how do I do it? How do I do this? I will still give you advice and I will still encourage you because there is always, and even sometimes when I hear an actor who's specifically like I've helped cast things before or I've listened to auditions and I know what I'm like, what directors are looking for, and I know what I'm hearing. And I can hear an actor when they're holding back. I can hear an actor when they're scared and or just unsure of the choices they're making. And so I will always be open and willing to help someone or talk to someone. And though I can't always do it, and there's many people who like request message or whatever, I can't always respond. I'm only one person, but I
Right.
will try my best to give as much advice that is helping these people because if I didn't have advice either, like I would not be giving advice now, you know? And so that's so important. And I do forget the last part of the question.
Yeah, how do you take care of yourself mentally and
Oh,
creatively in
yes.
such a demanding field?
Yes. Well, that's also that kind of goes into the last one is I try to make sure that I when I do respond to things, I don't overdo it. Like I want to help people so bad. And recently, a young girl who did theater with me reached out for like help on an audition. And I like sent her paragraphs. And I was like, this is like how I would like this is how like what songs might be helpful and all this stuff. And but it does take a lot out of me and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's fine. But I definitely am a people pleaser sometimes and I've learned to stop. Like I've learned to be like, okay, I'm done. Like if I'm not doing something like I can tell myself like I need to listen to that. And I think it's just self-control is a big thing is like I'm tired right now or I'm not like feeling okay or I'm sick. Like I've pushed through things that like I probably shouldn't have before. And because as actors growing up, you think like, yes, yes, yes. Everyone tells you to just say yes. And I'm like, that's so damaging to not only the person and their like psyche, but also like them as an actor. Saying yes to everything is not the answer. You, in fact, should not say yes to everything because
It's
there
okay
are
to
things
say
that,
no.
yeah, and there's things out there that aren't for you or they're just you won't feel comfortable with. I did a callback recently for something and I realized like, oh, I was like, I still did it, but I was like, I don't know if I like fit or feel comfortable because like it just wasn't like clicking and I didn't get it. And I'm like, no wonder I didn't get it because like I feel like everything does happen for a reason, but also if you aren't in it, like in like feeling it, you won't get it. And so I'm like, I'm not even upset about it. I was just like, yeah, that makes so much sense. And I'm actually really happy because I didn't say no when I should have. And that does, sometimes that does rear its head. So I try to make sure that I'm checking in with myself. I'm giving time to like relax. I give breaks. You know, talk to my family. I talk to my friends. I try to have a life outside of acting, even though it is a huge part of my life. It isn't who I am. And I think a lot of actors forget that they are not their resume or they are not their, credits and all of that. Like they're human beings. And because you are not who you are because you act. Like you act because of who you are. And so it's hard when people get into the yes, 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 I will do it. I will do it. And so I would just honestly, my biggest advice to myself and also to everyone is to like give yourself a moment to check in after or before you do something. Because we sometimes jump the gun as human beings. We get excited. But if you're too excited or you're too nervous about something, you have to be checking in with yourself. Because you could also be sabotaging yourself and not know it. Like me doing that callback or me doing that audition and like being like, I don't know, I was sabotaging myself. I set myself up for that because I wasn't comfortable and I still did it. And because everyone, it's something that every person works through. I don't think there's a single actor out there in this world that is like, I've never said yes to something that I didn't want to do or that I didn't feel fully comfortable with. because we are taught that. And that's so damaging. So my thing is to say no. Say no. Because like it is such a powerful word, but it's also not going to hurt anyone. You saying no only saves you from something. It doesn't hurt anyone. You're if someone's like, "Oh man, I really wanted you to audition." I'd be like, "That's okay." Like but I said no.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with saying no. Like,
Yeah,
shoot, we'll understand. And we'll just move
exactly.
on to the next thing. Like I
Yeah.
said, just keep it moving.
Hmm.
And so, we're at the finale now, but this one's going to be a fun finale for you.
Ooh.
Section 4 is
Oh no.
Disney nerd mode activated.
Okay.
Here it comes. No, that's perfect. So,
Why did it
so
like zoom in? Was that you or me?
that was
Oh,
you.
oh, it's magical. Okay. That was kind of perfect. Okay.
I'll keep it. As a huge Disney fan, what was the movie that started all for you?
It's not what people think. It's Beauty and the Beast. I love that movie so much that I would like because Belle was a brunette and I'm a brunette. And so when I'm little, little girl is like, she has my hair. And that's why I loved it. And also it was like it did end up being the first thing of like theater I was in. Um, but I would say that really like uh yeah, that was kind of the big one because also my sister was also obsessed with that movie. So we would just bond over it. And I would say Beauty and the Beast probably.
There you go. That's another classic. I just wanted to poke your hand because I was like, there's got to be one movie that started all for
Oh
her.
yeah.
So at first I thought it had to be either Beauty or the Beast,
Hmm.
or it had to be at least what else? It had to be at least The Little Mermaid. It had to be between those
Yes.
two.
Hmm. I mean, Little Mermaid's a classic, but Beauty and the Beast was definitely like, honestly, it's like one of the best Disney movies too. So I said what I said.
There you go. And yes, brunettes and hair. You do have brunette in there.
Yeah, I don't look like Belle though. I look like Snow White, but I love Belle.
Well, it's close to it.
It's close.
So, now, if you could voice any Disney character, existing or original, who would it be and why?
Oh no, don't give me this. People ask me this a lot and I have to hold myself back, but you know what? I'm just gonna bite the bullet here. There's two. I'll do my realistic one and then my there's kind of three. Dang. I don't know. Okay. So I would say if you were talking to like my younger self, it would 100% be Anna from Frozen. I would if I could go back in time, that would be it. But also, I love Rapunzel, and Rapunzel is probably my favorite to do and to like favorite character. So I would say those two, but a sleeper pick and also a unrealistic one, but a girl can dream. If I had a time machine and I could go back in time to like 2016, I would knock on the door of the director to Tangled the series. I'd be like, "Hey, I know you're creating this thing, and I know the character is a guy, but can you change it? Because I would love to voice Varian in Tangled the series because one of my favorite performers, Jeremy Jordan, voices him, and I love Jeremy Jordan, but I also am like I should be Varian. So if I could change that, that would be one thing because if I could change anything, I would play every single Jeremy Jordan role. So that's that's my answer.
There you go. There you go. Man, everybody likes Frozen for some reason. Now they got Frozen 3 coming out and
I know.
whatnot.
I thought it was gonna end. That's crazy.
Yeah. Just like I was like, they don't need to come out with a Toy Story 5. And guess what happened? They came out with it anyway.
I was shocked when they came out with a fourth one. I was like, really?
Oh
It
well.
is what it is.
Yes. All right, next one. Oh no.
Oh no.
Which Disney villain do you think is the most misunderstood?
Oh no. Oh, I have to actually put real thought to this because some of those people are awful. Oh my gosh. You know who's not misunderstood? Frollo from Hunchback? No. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Who is misunderstood? Not Cruella. She kills puppies. That's not. Um,
Don't even get me started with Scar from The Lion King.
oh, ooh, oh my gosh, don't even.
Mm,
He's the worst.
I'm
Who's misunderstood?
surrounded by
I mean,
idiots.
but he's too iconic. You know what? Hades. Hades from Hercules because he's funny. And that's the reason. He's funny. Um, I yeah, that's probably the safest answer would be Hades. Um, I mean Maleficent has like stuff in the movies that I don't really remember. I know she was like misunderstood in the movies, but in the original she's kind of just there. So no. Probably Hades. He's iconic.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes he's good, he's misunderstood.
Yeah.
He has his reasons.
He has his reasons. He has his reasons.
So I can understand Hades. I haven't watched Hercules since I haven't watched that movie since I was 8 years old. I never
Oh
watched it
wow.
again.
It's so good. That's a good
I probably need to get back to it at some point.
yeah.
So listen, I get picky about what I watch, okay? I'm trying to work on it. Let's see. Two-part question finale here. If Disney created a brand new animated film and you were cast as the lead, what kind of character would you want to play? Part two, final fun one. If your life had a Disney style musical number, what would the song be about?
This is such a good question. Okay. If I was a lead, I would want to be. I mean, I would like say I want to be a Disney princess because that's like the basic answer that everyone knows is going to come out of my mouth. Um, I would love to be a Disney princess, but if I wasn't a Disney princess, I would want to be like, oh, I don't even know. Just like if I could just put myself in Disney, that's what I would be. I would just be myself. I feel like that's like the most fun to play is me.
There
That
you
sounds like
go.
such a silly answer, but if I had a song, oh, what would it be about? Oh, ah, I really want like a I really want a fun song. Like I really want like a bouncy song. I can't really think of an example, but similar to like I don't even know. All the songs blanked in my head, but I would love to like have like a bouncy like song, maybe like going about the town and like do 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 do. I think that would be fun, but I also really love like a ballad moment, like an I Want song is a basic answer. But what would it be about? Probably, I don't know, probably just like overcoming things and like similar to a cut song from Frozen 2 is Home that Anna sings that they cut.
hmm
It's like similar to that where it's like she's like talking about all the things she's like overcome in her like love of family and I think that's very similar to what I would probably have. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds exciting. And well, shoot, I hope you do get one of those Disney roles, especially, there's a lot of possibilities. Beth, please keep auditioning so you get into a Disney movie, please.
Yes, I'm asking. I want Disney to yeah. I will.
So,
Any opportunity.
by the way, surprise question. And now, where do you see yourself in the next few years?
Ooh. I hope still performing. I would really be concerned if I wasn't. Um, I really hope that, I'm gonna just manifest it because manifesting's good and being positive and putting that out into the world is good. So I'm gonna say I really would love to like get a role or get roles that have me go to conventions and meet people. And I would love to, you know, who knows? I could be, I don't know, accepting an Oscar in a year. I could be accepting one like never or in 40 years. Or I don't really know, but as long as I just keep doing what I'm doing, I think I'm going to end up where I need to be. So I hope it's just similar to how I'm doing now, is just living my life and telling stories.
Exactly. That's all we can ask for.
Yes.
And right now I'm doing the same thing. I'm just enjoying life to the fullest. I'm still figuring out stuff to do, but in the meantime, because it's kind of finding hard jobs these days with everything's
Mhm.
going on. But I found something to do in the meantime. Hopefully, I can get this up to off the ground as well quickly because
Yeah.
it's going great so far. But let's keep the
Yes.
momentum going.
Hmm.
So, well, I think that kind of wraps everything up in good time because I have another one at 5.
We did
So,
it.
I hope you enjoyed our discussion today.
Yes, it was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. We talk a lot, but I think we had fun.
Hey, like I said, I'm trying to find anybody I come across.
Hmm. Well, thank you.
Mhm.